Good evening, everybody.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say you probably got the day off today, but then when I pulled up, I saw all the pumpkins. So were you in the pumpkin patch today?
Not today. We had already been picking.
Okay.
Yeah, we had picked that. Marcy actually went yesterday and picked.
What?
And I had picked, me and her and the kids went like the day before that.
Okay. Well, of course, it's rained all day today.
Yeah.
It didn't end up raining much. It's just a slow, steady rain.
Yeah.
It was a good rain, I guess.
It was a saturating rain.
I had less than a half inch at my house.
Oh, really?
But it is about as good of a half inch you could ask for yet. It did that over like 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's what my plan was if we got rained out to go pick pumpkins today. We got maybe another truckload out there. I mean, it did better than I thought. But there's probably another truckload out there, but I wasn't going to go pick them in the rain.
Say the bugs got to them pretty bad.
Well, I thought, but I haven't seen a single bug where I sprayed. I got a second patch that I didn't spray, and there's pumpkin bugs in it.
What do you think hurt your yield, or they just?
Well, I didn't put any nitrogen stuff down before I laid the wrap.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that may have been it, which I sprayed them. Like I did some liquid nitrogen. I sprayed some liquid fertilizer on them, but I think they just ran out of nitrogen.
What, have you got them sold already, or are you just going to sell them?
I got a good bit of them sold. We weren't even going to sell any. And then just finally, we got so many.
Man, I was about to say, you got enough just out there that I saw when I pulled in tonight.
Oh yeah. It's at least a good, I mean, that's more than a trailer load.
Yeah.
So, and there is, like I said, there's another truck bed full down there. We've got a bunch of them big white ones, which I really like. We're going to do that's going to be our jack-o'-lantern. See, like my Atlantic Giants, and why I kind of think it might have been a nitrogen issue is like my Atlantic Giants did not get big. Like the biggest Atlantic Giant I got might be 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've had one of them before that was probably 120 pounds. Like, they get big.
40-pounder, you can't break the Mississippi River record.
No, I can't. I cannot. I ain't going to be able to go down. I'd be in bad shape if I got in that thing.
But
well, before we get too deep, got to give a shout out.
Yeah.
Ag Saga.
Yeah, of course, agsaga.com.
They got a different special going on right now.
Yeah, so of course, like always, one of the neat things about this special is
our code still works.
Yeah, still use the Talk Dirt code to get your 10% off. Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word. But they want us to wrap up our 2023 baling season with free shipping. So, free shipping code WRAP23. Of course, just like it sounds. WRAP. Then the number 23.
WRAP23. That kind of rhymes.
Kind of does, yeah. But and that applies to all the products, not just the bale net wrap, but obviously, right here at the end of baling season. I think I may go ahead and load up for next year.
That's a good deal.
I rolled what I'm pretty certain is going to be the last of my hay yesterday. I rolled nearly 100 rolls in the last week. It's not an enormous amount, but for me, that's close to a third of my my total yield for the year just in the last week. But free shipping, which they always say they have really reasonable shipping for huge bulky items like that, fast and reasonable, but you can't get any more reasonable than free. And then you get 10% off on top of that, which I thought that was cool. When they told us they wanted us to promote that free shipping, I was like, well, but I guess they can't get 10% off. He said, oh, no.
Get that too.
They let you double dip. But check them out. All the stuff. I saw they had an ad on Instagram for the Breyer horses. So
Christmas is
that'll
coming.
That'll be a big Christmas item. They got all the different toys, tractors, the farm, ranch sets, the horses, you name it. You just got to check. It's pages and pages of the toys.
Yep. Like Mitt Romney had binders of women. They have pages of toys.
I'm not even aware of what Mitt
You don't
Romney.
remember when he was running for president? They were talking about. He said he has binders and binders of women.
I did not know that.
Well, Ag Saga, they got binders and binders of toys.
Yep.
You need to check it out.
Yep.
Use the code.
Use both codes. Yep.
So, man, we got a lot to discuss tonight. A lot has transpired.
It has, which and I know you got a lot. There were two kind of legal issues that we've discussed right here that I just wanted to kind of give an update on. One of them, the most recent one, the most, locally, relevant or close to us. The issue of spreading chicken litter in Jackson, Tennessee, that Griggs Farms had really kind of highlighted. Of course, you can check them out on YouTube, I guess, and Instagram. But basically, they won that battle.
Oh, really? So it's done?
Matt had an update this week. He posted on YouTube. I watched it. Basically, I think, so the city voted, and it passed unanimously an ordinance to ban the use of chicken litter. But I guess for it to officially go into effect, and I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, it has to be presented twice. Well, in the meantime, before the city council could meet again, obviously they had a bunch of pushback. I wrote a letter and mailed them. I know they had a lot of emails and different things. They essentially said they were going to drop it. They weren't going to bring it back up, which I think was because, I think this is the way Matt explained it.
Because of your letter.
Yeah, all because of me.
They said Bobby Lee Hanks's letter is what did it.
Dude just cussed us and ripped us a new one.
Yeah, the telegram I sent.
We all left and went home crying. No, I was relatively polite, but no, a lot of people did get involved, and I think that probably helped. But a lot of groups with some real, swing a big hammer like Farm Bureau, and I think pretty much what it was going to come down to was if it went to court eventually, like I guess if they had passed it, maybe Matt would have had to have sued them, or Griggs Farms would have had to sue them, or probably a group of farmers would have sued them, because they weren't the only farmers, wanting to use chicken litter that they were going to lose in court, because Tennessee is a right to farm state. That is considered a normal agricultural practice, because it is a normal agricultural practice, and so they were going to lose. They didn't have a leg to stand on. So that was some good news.
Well, by God, we swing a big hammer.
Yeah, you're right.
I get to thinking, like, if we were to, let's say if they had like lost that battle and it had to go to the next phase and it really looked like this was going to come through, I feel like we could reach out to the listeners and be like, look, guys, we need y'all all across the country to bombard this place with letters or emails. Yeah. Man, I think that we'd do some damage.
Yeah, a truly peaceful protest.
When we come out and say that we're not paying taxes anymore, I expect all of you to join forces.
Right. But yes, that was a good one, and the other one was a good one too, and it was a little farther back a few months ago when we discussed Richie DeVillier, and I think I'm saying his name right, down in the Houston, Texas area.
Is that where the flooding?
Yes, where, for those of you that didn't listen to that episode, you should go back and listen. But basically, his family farm's been there over 100 years. They've never flooded, had any issues. Well, then the state of Texas, or Texas Department of Transportation, like basically dammed up their property, built a levee more or less with the road by raising the roadway, so the water couldn't naturally drain. And then I think it may have been Harvey, which was obviously a generational type flooding event, flooded, but then they wouldn't even let the water out, and so the cattle and all were just standing in water for days upon days when it should have receded. But then it flooded again like a year or two later. So it's clearly an issue where the state has created the problem by essentially, damming up, the normal drainage. Well, anyway, the Supreme Court is going to hear that case.
Oh, nice.
The Supreme Court, I think may have been the end of last week. I just happened to, I was checking my normal places I check for headlines today. Yeah. I was like, holy crap. Well,
surely they won't get stupid.
That's a big victory just for it to get to the Supreme Court. And, you would like to think that, they've got a really, really strong case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I honestly haven't paid attention to the Supreme Court lately, but I feel like they shot down something just here recently that was a pretty stupid thing. I think it was somebody was trying to get Trump ineligible, and the Supreme Court pretty much instantly shot it down. So maybe they'll have some common sense too on this issue.
Man, it seems like a slam dunk case. I mean, obviously the state of Texas was, they weren't going to rule against them, so it was probably going to have to go to the Supreme Court for it to end up in their favor. But I'll try to follow along with that and provide another update here. I don't know. Hell, I'm not a legal expert by any means. I don't know how long it takes.
Shoot, I don't either. Yeah.
But
hey, well, I want to give a shout out too. We are on the radio. We're actually on the radio in Montezuma. I guess it's Montezuma. I know it's in Georgia. Is it Montezuma, Georgia?
Yeah. I've never been to Montezuma.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Any state. But yeah. What you say? We're syndicated now, nationally syndicated.
I think that's right. Is
that the correct terminology?
AM WMNZ 1050 in Georgia.
There actually is as I'm looking up Montezuma. So there's a Montezuma, Tennessee. Hell, there's a Montezuma in like every state.
Really?
Tennessee, Georgia, Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Colorado, Ohio.
Dang, it is one in all the states.
Everybody has the Montezuma.
Well, our Georgia brethren and sisters, if you're listening, hey, we're pumped to be on the radio out there.
Yeah.
So we appreciate y'all for liking the show. I want to just give a little shout out. And also, man, I got the hat on tonight. Another awesome company that they need to check out is Ag Gear. I guess it's just aggear.com.
I'll look that up while we're talking about it. Yeah.
They make, man, all kinds of awesome shirts. They got some just awesome T-shirts, and it's like the super soft. I would have wore the shirt tonight, but I'm like a guy, I don't like to wear the hat and the shirt. I feel like I'm kind of overdoing it.
Yeah. You look like you're a walking commercial.
Yeah.
So it's aggearstore.com.
Gotcha.
Or if you just put in your search engine Ag Gear, it's the first thing to come up. And they actually have, it was a pop-up. I think they're running
a sale going on.
Yeah,
right
25%
now.
off site-wide for this weekend. So, yeah, if you're listening to this episode as soon as it comes out, check them out. You get 25% off.
Yeah, and the stuff is awesome. Like I said, I like the T-shirts a lot. I got some collared shirts in I haven't worn yet because I think they're long sleeve. But I like
we'll be
the
in
hats.
long sleeve weather this weekend. It's with that rain that came through. The high today was about 70.
Yeah, it was nice.
I think we're getting up in the mid 70s again tomorrow. But by Saturday, the high is like 69.
Nice, 69.
Really nice.
That is very nice.
Lows in the 40s. So yeah, it's gonna be jacket weather. Get to break out. That's one thing I'm excited about. As a cowboy hat kind of guy. You know, on occasion.
You gonna put your vest on?
Well, I don't know if I get. It might be vest, but just get to break out the felt weather.
Yeah,
I've already seen some people doing their little videos on Instagram where it's like, and it's some kind of the audios from some movie or something. It's like it says it is time. And the guy's wearing a straw hat. And he takes the straw hat off and he hangs it up and he puts on the felt hat.
Felt hat. Well, good. I can get mine out there.
Yeah, going to be felt hat weather for us here, but then I think it's going to quickly go back to straw hat weather.
Yeah, it's got to tease us a few times.
Yeah,
heck, it was hot at Christmas last year.
Well, not
last year. Last year was cold as crap.
Last year was the coldest I've ever been.
It was like 0 because our heat was out here. Yeah. It was the year before, I think.
Oh, we never know. Well, October is considered National Dead Calf Month.
Because of the weather change?
Yeah, it's just, it'll be, well, it's not even just from one day to the next, but it'll be 40 degrees in the morning and 80 degrees in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's just hell on those calves that are, a lot of people are weaning right now, and they're just stressed and.
Dude, I had no clue. Now, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here, but I had no clue that freaking mini cows were as gosh dang expensive as they are.
Yeah.
I called you.
Yeah, which somebody had. I guess it was Mr. Tim had written in and asked a question about.
Well, now I would really tell him hell no.
If mini cows are a good option for people with just a small homestead, smaller land, and again, it's not a.
We're not attacking you,
but they're kind of it's a novelty thing. Like there's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so, which, yes, you had talked to somebody, they were pricing them, which who knows, like, how some people are when they price something.
They said the bloodline was like legit, but
some people, like, it's worth what somebody's willing to pay them. I don't know that anybody is willing to pay those prices. Well, maybe they are.
I'm going to tell you what I was expecting.
It was outrageous.
Like, they had like, I think it was like 6 of them.
If you're paying for them by pound, you'd pay like 10% of that.
Yeah. Well, that's how I said, because they sent me some pictures of them. And I said, all right, they were good looking little calves, and we're doing the farm store thing. So I was like, that'd be cool to have some mini cows. People like that. And I said, what's the price? And they said 5,000 to 8,000. And so I was thinking, dang, it's a little steep. But I was like, all right. So I said, so you mean that for all of them? And they were like, no, that's per cow. They're like, dude, people pay 10,000 to 15,000 a piece for these. And I said, hell no.
Unless it's like a specific show animal or something super special, I would have to see the receipts from those transactions. And then even still, I'd be like, is this like some funny money kind of thing?
Yeah. I was literally thinking, I'd be like, I'll give you, and I don't mean this to be offensive. Like if we have some listeners that are like mini cow people, I don't mean to be a butt, but I was literally thinking, I'll give
beef,
you.
They're good to eat, but like you can't eat them at that price. Like, oh my Lord! Like,
well, and I was thinking like $300 a cow, and I even messaged the guy back, and I said, dude, you can buy. I know right now you can buy some Wagyu cows. I said you could buy full-blooded Wagyu,
full size,
and and I was like, you could buy them for like $5,000 a cow.
I mean, like good, just. And of course, you can go to some of these bull sales where, it's got some
elaborate,
badass,
bodacious grandson.
It's just, it's a bull that, has just unbelievable bloodlines and all the numbers and the EPDs. And he's going to go into a program where they're going to just, collect semen and ship it all over the world. And some of those bulls bring money it's like monopoly money.
Don't some of them bring like $500,000?
I forget what, every, so often another one brings.
I'd sell one of mine for $500,000.
But like a typical like bull sale that we go to, you'll see some $10,000, $15,000 bulls. Now those are outliers.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of probably $5,000 to $8,000, and then which cattle market has gotten so ridiculous now. Used to you buy some $2,500 to $3,500 bulls, which now heck, a lot of them are worth that just going across the scales.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's just, I was trying to think, and I've got some registered animals. Still have a few registered cows. Guess I got 2 registered bulls, 1 registered Brangus, 1 registered Angus. We ain't even touching that.
No, well dude, that's.
On the low end of that for a bull, yeah. But I'll tell you something. I don't want to get too far off track or down a rabbit hole, but I've told very few people this story. I actually owned a miniature cow for like 2 weeks.
Were you ashamed?
Incredibly. Like, I didn't tell anyone.
I was going to say, I don't even know that I knew this.
It was one of those deals, used to, now I think Facebook's cracked down on it, like the local like farm site, and they had like a little auction on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I would get up, it was more just entertainment kind of thing. Like these people had a cow calf paired. Pictures, you couldn't tell it was a mini at all. There was nothing else.
If there's no reference, you could be.
And wasn't a great looking cow at all. She was horned, had a calf on her side. It's like a longhorn cross calf. He was real marked up. I was like, man, that's good look. And I bid like $600 for the pair. Nobody else bid on it.
They must not have had a high bloodline.
And so I won it. And I was like, oh, holy crap. And then I was like, they were like 2 hours away. And I was like, shit. Like, I don't want to spend a day driving to go pick this sucker up.
And they were minis.
But I was like, whatever. And it was going to be a few days before I could go get them. And I was like, all right. Like, okay. I was like, it's a steal. Like, they should have brought twice that much.
Yeah.
Which it should have been twice that big. But
yeah.
As time got closer, I got to thinking, I was like,
something's got to be off.
Something doesn't add up here. And as I pull into the people's place, and I'm not going to bash their setup or anything, but you could tell it was like, and I was like, yep. So I didn't say a word, because they were probably worth about what I paid for them.
Yeah.
In reality, where I thought I was getting a hell of a deal. I got those suckers home, and as quickly as I could, I had them like on Craigslist, and I got my money back.
Did you?
Now, of course, I wasted half a day, driving and getting them and fuel. I think I got my exact money back out of them. and the people that came and got them, like I was up front, it's like, these are minis. And they came and they were like.
Did you tell them how you came to have them?
I don't think I even did that. Maybe I did, because I had to be honest, like, wow, I was wanting to just get rid of these suckers and I didn't know anything about them. But yeah, but it was a deal where I couldn't get there and back out. It was like, it was an auction.
You're in there. Yeah.
And I was like, of course, $600 wasn't going to break me, but I was like, I the whole way home, I was like, how do I get rid of these things? And
yeah.
I made sure, I was like, I don't want to post them like on Facebook or anything, like on my Facebook. Because I want
people to be like, what are you doing with some minis?
Because I was, at the time, I was legitimately selling some, replacement heifers and stuff. And people are like, what kind of a Mickey Mouse outfit is this guy running? But yeah, that's my only experience with minis. I had them and got rid of them as fast as I possibly could.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they would be a good novelty for the farm store to have like a small little area for them. Yeah. And that's what but I mean, if I do that, I'm going to buy I would buy a $600 set of them. Like, I ain't paying this kind of money for them.
And she was like kind of a Longhorn cross cow. And she was, because apparently Longhorns are popular, Herefords are popular, mini Herefords.
The mom on the pictures there was a Longhorn.
Yep. Herefords, you see like the little zebus, which you see them at the zoo all the time.
Isn't that Longhorn minis on the way to Rosemark on the back way?
I think there's
a house.
I think that one's full size.
Well, not the one where there's a bunch. There's a house up there that like has like a fenced in yard. Yeah.
The one that I have seen there was a full size at one point. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know that it's not desirable, the horn thing, but those Longhorns just look cool.
Oh, and that's, most people that have a Longhorn have it as a pasture one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they look cool. Like this one, it's crazy. They can't see, well, you can see a little bit of it in the video. This cow, it's crazy how much these horns have shrunk. So like you can see the.
Well, she was, I know the story behind her. So she was out of her dad's herd.
Yeah. She was actually pretty friendly.
They had I remember because they would tell the story. One year cattle prices were terrible. They're like, we're just keeping all our heifers.
Yeah.
You ain't getting nothing for them. And of course, Longhorn, which a Longhorn bull will be big. I mean, real big.
Yeah.
But they throw a really small calf. And somebody they knew knew where they could get them a Longhorn bull. So they threw a Longhorn, or maybe it was a Longhorn cross, but I think it was just purebred Longhorn bull on those heifers.
Yeah.
And that cow was born, so she was half Longhorn. So
yeah. Well, and they actually used to be like black and white. Like they looked really good. But like I said, it's crazy how they've drawn up because they were significantly longer than that.
But she was old when she died.
She was.
They'd had her for a long time. She was a real good gentle cow.
Oh yeah, so if you put feed out there, you had to watch out because her horns. Yeah. But she was cool.
And hey, if you want something at the farm store, because
you got a chupacabra. Been thinking about getting one of those.
Yeah, I've got some heifers they're going to be pretty dang Longhorned. They were out of that bull I had he was 3/4 Brahma, 1/4 Angus.
Yeah,
and he was horned.
That would be cool.
I probably got some pictures of them. Yeah, of course I don't really want them to have. I don't mind the horns, but they got such long horns. Getting them just in the head gate and the chute.
Yeah.
It'd
be a cool novelty thing, like I said, for people to look at.
Yeah, I could pick out one of the gentler ones of those, if you really wanted to do that.
Yeah, send me some pictures of them.
Yeah, I'll get snap some pictures of them in the morning.
Well, I got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I've had some crazy stuff happen. I've had some interactions with some real stupid people. So I figured we'd just talk about all of it.
Yeah.
So I need to start at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
Man, so if you hadn't seen, this happened Saturday, and Derek was with me. He was on the buggy. We're running last 8 rows of corn. Like, we're finishing corn, and it was like 3 o'clock or 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon. I already had radioed, and I said, dude, I got 8 rows to go. We're going to shell these out. We'll go get the header trailer. We'll bring it over here. And I said, we're going home. Be done early. And my driver was headed to Hales Point. Well, I'm shelling the last 8, and I was like pumped, man. I was fired up. And then I get a phone call from my driver. I answer, and I don't hear anything, but I can actually hear the clicking of the hazard lights. I can like hear it. I know I recognize the sound, but he uses hazards a lot. Like if he's actually very safe. Like he's been a trucker for his whole life. He's got a CDL. So for people that like, again, it's some of the dumb interactions I've had with some people, but he is extremely experienced truck driver. So I don't think a whole lot about the hazard lights. Well, I'm like, hey man, he don't say nothing. So I hang up, man, it all shifted then. When I hung up, I had a text message from him and it said, help. And then the next was a picture of our freaking hopper bottom trailer. And it was just broke in half. Like it was bowed in half and it was sitting on the road.
Yeah. Nearly snapped in two.
Yeah. And
loaded with corn.
Loaded with corn, not overloaded. There's several things that I got to point out along the way. The trailer was not overloaded. It honestly, like, look, and I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Farmers, everybody knows we notoriously, we got to load the wagon pretty good.
Overloaded for what is
legal.
For by the Department of Transportation.
Yes.
I don't know what the trailers are. Which I guess they're not going to ever be rated, I guess, for more than what would be legal.
Well, I've heard in like Iowa and places you can actually get a 100,000-pound permit.
Okay.
So I would say, and I mean, realistically, the trailers ought to never be, I wouldn't think that they actually should exceed what they are capable of withstanding. I don't think we could load them to that capacity. And again, if they're...
But a lot of guys, I mean, they haul hundreds, if not some of these guys, maybe thousands of loads a year that are
very heavy,
way overloaded.
I mean, it's not uncommon. Well, I can honestly say a couple years ago, we had a guy haul and he had his own trailer and he was 115,000 pounds when he went to the granary.
Damn.
Now he was getting paid per bushel. So it benefited him to freaking load the wagon. And I mean, dude, he was making good money.
He was doing custom hauling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, load the wagon, man. And we would let him load it himself. And it was a real tall side. It was a Tempty super hopper and an aluminum trailer. Like some people are scared to really load them. Dude, he was loading the wagon. And and if DOT or somebody's listening, I have no physical proof of that, so you can't come after me. But
statute of limitations.
That's right. But yes, guys, just do. But again, we're on a. Let me just finish the story, then I'll get into the other part. So the trailer was broken half. The dude was kind of telling me what was going on. Man, I about had a heart attack. Like I called Dad. I was like, I don't know what in the crap to do. And I said, the trailer broke in half. And he's like, what? Like he couldn't even quite comprehend. So I texted him a picture and he just was like, holy shit. He goes, damn. He said, I have heard of that happening, but I've never seen it. And I said, me neither. And so, man, luckily I made about 30 phone calls and I found this Lowry's towing service in Dyersburg. And I called them and I said, man, I am in a bad situation. I said, I got this trailers down on the side of Highway 88. This is a rough highway for anybody wondering. It's notorious for like dips on the bridges. And it's actually happened quite a bit of times on Highway 88. DOT guy came out. I think he said it's happened like 6 times on Highway 88 or something.
Damn.
But so the guy says, man, we got a grain vacuum. He said, we'll meet you there. We'll get the trailer. We'll vacuum it out. He said, we'll get you taken care of. So that was like a breath of fresh air.
You just had to get an empty trailer up there.
Yes. It worked out because, see, my other trailer was loaded. And so luckily Kurt was getting unloaded in Memphis. So I called him and I said, just go straight to Hales Point. So he goes to Hales Point. We're hammering down. Like I felt like a cop. I was like, I told Derek, he was with me. I said, we're going lights on, man. I flipped on the hazard lights and I was like, I got my big strobe up on the cab. We had it on. We were hammering down 14 and in my service truck. We get to Hales Point. Oh yeah, state troopers there, fire department's there. It's corn on the road. And I mean, it was crazy. The trailer, when it broke, it was a freak thing. It was a freak accident. Luckily, the truck is an automatic. I just bought that truck that's on the trailer. Yeah. Like I bought it 3 days prior to this happening.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember if I had insurance on it yet at this point. So thank God that my driver and my truck were okay. But this thing, when it broke and went down, the jack stand had a plate welded across it, and it was just skidding on the ground, and it was spraying sparks. Oh, it would have been a hell of a sight to see, but it was spraying sparks out, and it set the whole side grass on fire. Like the side of the road was on fire. But the guy driving, he said that he was like, man, I think that automatic probably saved my life, because he just had come down this hill. He had the Jake brake on, and so it was just automatically shifting down, and it don't even have like a gear shift over here. And he didn't stomp the brakes. He said the whole front of the truck, when it happened, he said the whole front of the truck like went up in the air. And he said he was staring at the ceiling, and then he said it nosed down really hard. Didn't know what had happened, and then he kind of figured out, but he didn't stomp the brakes. He rode it out, stopped it. They got there. We had an empty trailer. They pulled up right next to us, ran the vacuum over into the trailer, pumped it into the empty one. It couldn't, for a bad situation, it was the best possible outcome. Like, I lost maybe 20 bushels of corn.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a bunch when you see it, because I put it on my YouTube YouTube channel, and it looks like a bunch, but corn runs like water. So, like, if you dumped a 50-pound sack out, which would be the equivalent of about 1 bushel of corn, man, it's going to look like a bunch of corn.
Yeah.
So I probably didn't lose 20 bushels of corn. Again, I can't reiterate enough, the trailer was not overloaded. We all even felt up under the trailer because we were like, how in the hell did this happen? And we didn't feel any cracks, like we didn't see any stress cracks. It wasn't rusted under there. It was just, man, I don't know. It was crazy.
Well, and which one point you made to me, because of course people are like, yeah, I don't believe you weren't overloaded. But you weren't overloaded because y'all were done. Like, you knew that you were
splitting the load.
Yeah, you were splitting loads, so you were well under. I guess you got the ticket to prove on what did get delivered.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can show them.
It was only short, a few bushels. And
well, that's what I guess to explain that better for somebody that doesn't understand, we say split the load. Like, one trailer, I mean, you can get 1,200 bushels of corn on a trailer. I mean, if you really packed it, you could get 1,300. You could squeeze 1,300 bushel of corn on a trailer. I don't know if you could get it on that trailer. See, that trailer is 42 foot long, but it never actually held as much as the other trailers. So we never have liked that trailer. It was just an old one, and I just needed a trailer. And so I was borrowing Dad's, and well, we had like 1,400 or 1,500 bushels left.
It was going to be hauled.
Yeah, and I didn't want to have one big load and then a 300 bushel load.
Yeah.
So we'll split that between two trailers so that you don't have because it's a long way. We're burning a lot of diesel.
It's actually the best case scenario of the only time you have a load that wasn't a full load.
Yes, it really was. It was, but like I said, man, thankfully, like, it truly was a great outcome. The truck was fine, the driver was fine, and we didn't even hardly lose any corn.
Yeah. So trailer's the only real casualty.
Yes. So, I mean, and now that it's over and everybody's all right, like, it was quite a spectacle to see. Like, them coming out there and vacuuming it out. And, I mean, dude, we got the truck unhooked, and, hell, the wrecker service, they had a big, like, Peterbilt wrecker, and they just backed up and had this arm that came out, and they picked it up and chained it up, and dude rolled on. He had to be like 50-something foot long, because that truck was long as crap.
Where'd they take the trailer to?
To their shop.
Okay.
Yeah, they took it to their shop, and which that's what Dad was saying. I think that they're like, he's been talking to insurance, getting everything finalized, and I ran that trailer last year, and I put some new tires on the right side because it kept having blowouts. So we were like, can we get the tires and stuff? Because, I mean, it's got good tires on it. Yeah, it was crazy. I was, like, stressed to the max, man. Like, dude, I was like, Derek was riding. He was like, man, you're actually really well composed for what's going on. And I said, maybe externally I seem all right, but I was like, inside my body is like screaming. So he was like, well, you're doing all right. Now, I will say one funny thing. My driver, when he called me later, he was like, man, when y'all get here, you got to see the skid marks on the road. And I said, what about the skid marks in your underwear? And he said, I don't want to talk about those. The truck, I bet you it skid, oh man, well over 300 feet. Like it was nuts. So thank God everybody was all right. The situation was okay. We got the corn hauled. And all that was taken care of. But my driver did say it kind of irked him a little bit. There was a dude in a big truck behind him when it happened, and he said he didn't even stop to check on him.
Damn.
He said, I'm going to tell you, he said, it kind of irked me a little bit. He said, man, he said, he watched this happen, and he said, he just went around me. Didn't stop or nothing.
I'm not trying to get done.
I guess so, but that's pretty sorry.
Well, I mean, I know he couldn't do much, but I mean, at least stop me like, man, you good?
Yeah, you all right? Do you need some underwear? Like,
well, be sure. I mean, because everybody's got a cell phone on, but like, you call somebody from here.
Yeah.
You know.
No, he said, dude didn't. He said he didn't stop or nothing. I said, wow, that's telling. That's really telling of the guy.
Yeah.
If you're
we
listening,
won't mention it on air, but did it have farm name on the
no,
truck?
he didn't see. Well, I asked him. I said, "You see the name?" And he said, "To be honest with you, I just wasn't thinking about it." Looking. So, if you're listening, you're a jerk for not stopping and asking if you needed help.
Roll down the window and be like, "Hey, you good?"
Yeah, I'd be like, "Man, that's a hell of a ride. Dang.
You need to make a phone call?"
Yeah, the grass is on fire. Like, and so yeah. Now, the next part of that saga really comes from online. So, because, I mean, both of us try to be, we both try to shed some light on the ag world and in the digital age. I guess I feel weird saying it, but I guess we're like ag influencers.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of weird to think about it that way, but yeah, which I'm not very good at this still with like YouTube of when you have a crisis like that, keep on filming.
Yeah.
Or start filming if you're not, just because that is, I mean, that's what people want to see.
It is.
That's what's, but anytime I have an accident or anything like that, I'm like, cut that effing camera off and just, I just want to put out fires, and
I would have been that way had I not already lined up the truck and the vacuum.
Yeah.
Before that, I was just panic mode.
Yeah.
And then once that was going, we were there, and that's what I told Derek. I was like, man, we're here. It's figured out. I said, I got to document this thing.
Well, in hindsight, I've had several instances where I've been like
the bull hitting you. If I'd have just videoed it, gosh dang it.
That one just came down to we were both, my battery was running low, so I was cutting my camera off. That would have been your golden ticket right there. Well, that would have been probably the best footage I've ever had on camera. But I've had just other incidents where, just something wasn't going right. And
Brad Pitt would probably be sitting here with us right now on the show if we had videoed that.
Tucker Carlson would have interviewed us.
There you go, yeah.
But
I mean, it hit Bobby Lee about 15 foot high in the air. Like he went actually up.
I don't know how high I went.
You went.
It hurt.
I guarantee you went 6 or 7 foot in the air.
Oh yeah.
And your loopholed sunglasses, they survived.
Yeah, they survived that. Then since then I've run over them.
That's right, you did.
I ran over them with a tractor
or
side by side or something.
Yeah. And speaking of our ag influence, so I shared a picture of the trailer thing happening, and I put a thing up there and I said not overloaded, because I already knew people are going to instantly say I was overloaded. Man, it's crazy. I think I've said on the show before, it's wild how much hate people have for farmers. Like, it's so strange to me.
It is.
Do you hate truck drivers that deliver your packages? Do you hate them?
No, man. I mean, I hate the ones that like drive like assholes and like maybe
but if they're like
stupid, but like as a whole, no. Like,
do you hate UPS drivers?
No, I mean our John's our UPS guy. We shoot the crap with him I shouldn't say every day, because some days I'm with a client or whatever. But
yeah,
UPS, FedEx, all those guys. We have a great relationship. Of course, I see them a lot of times twice a day there at our
Yeah.
office. A lot of times they have to drop something off like in the morning. That's weird to me. It's like, we'll be back this afternoon,
Yeah.
pick up. Well, FedEx does that because they have to pick up from us too when we're shipping out samples.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
Gotcha.
no, I love those dudes. One truck drivers like blue collar, like everything is good about America. They're out there getting the job done when there's so many people sitting on their butts at home not doing a darn thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got to thinking. I was like, is there any profession that I actually just hate the people? And I'm not a fan of politicians particularly, but there's some politicians that I don't have a problem with. I even got to thinking, like, I've made remarks about the ambulance chasers, but there's some lawyers that I know that I like.
Oh yeah. So, there's a lot of lawyers I don't care for, but I've got some that are friends.
Yeah, I do too. So that's where I'm like, I don't know that there's a profession besides like if a suicide bomber is considered a profession, I don't like them.
Yeah.
I guess if you fall into the terrorist category, that's probably just unanimous.
Yeah, I guess. Being a terrorist could be a profession.
Yeah, I feel like it could be.
But
like a normal profession, I can't think of any that I hate.
Yeah, the media is kind of heading that way, like the mainstream media. But you're same thing.
But
like,
there's some that you like. Right.
Yeah. They're getting fewer and fewer. But yeah.
Well, that's so
journalists in general,
and true journalism's kind of
very few. Well, there's very few true journalists out there.
But I say all that to say there are some people that just hate farmers. They just hate farmers. And so I realized that in this post. Now, with anything in the internet, everybody's an expert.
Right. Well, and you get like that 1% of idiots that and all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 of them. And so it seems like, oh my God, everybody has this opinion. When in reality, it's like, no, it's just like 1% of the population.
Well, so I put the post up and I see this guy, and I'm going to say his name. You can look him up if you want to call him an idiot. It's Mike Slind. I'll even spell it for you. Slind. I even got to thinking, we deal with so many idiots that I would almost enjoy doing. We could almost do an idiot. Do you remember Rock 103 would do the dumbass of the day?
Right.
Like, I almost was like, we could actually do dumbass of the day.
Well, it's a big thing. A lot of people, celebrities, they'll read the mean tweets.
Yes.
That's gotten to be a big thing everywhere.
It is. Well, that's
just read all the nasty things people are saying about them online.
That's basically what this is. Yeah. So this guy, Mike Slind, he said, no, tired of farmers getting by, and I'm going to read it how he wrote it so you can also read. No, tired of farmers getting by with nutting, no health card, no DOT, 90-year-old farmer driving down the wrong side of the road.
Which this was absolutely none of that.
It was literally none of that. That guy, Mike, and I went back and forth quite a few times. Mike, he commented like 12 or 15 times, and I actually finally said, Mike, I think you're in love with me. I said, I think you might be in love with me. I'm starting to get some weird feelings about you.
But and the weird thing with social media is, which this was on Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah, and
which I'll tell you, like I somebody messaged me on Facebook. I have a Hurricane Creek Farms Facebook page. I can look it up right now. Probably 2019 was the last time I put anything up on there.
Yeah.
I will respond to messages on there, but if that's the only social media you have, reach out to me. I'm happy with that. But it might be weeks later because my wife used to say, hey, you got a message on Facebook because she has access to the account too. But Facebook is, I always say it's the Walmart of the internet.
It is.
All the knuckle draggers are on Facebook.
It is.
Twitter can be kind of a cesspool too.
Yeah.
They all can, social media in general. But Facebook is like the least intelligent, I guess, overall of all the social medias.
Well, and I put the same post up on Instagram, and I don't think I had one single negative comment.
Yeah.
And I even had like Kip, he shared it and was like, real people, real problems, like support our farmers. Like he was like, so it was funny. It is funny the difference, which the people. I
hate the people who are trying to feed you.
Yeah.
Feed you and clothe you. Yeah.
Well, like I said, me and Mike went back and forth. And I was.
But that's what's good. Yeah. The crazy thing about it is that's really good for the algorithm.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Weird thing about social media, that pumps the post up even more. That's where, like, the few times I've had kind of some animal rights type people, or people start attacking like video where we're dehorning or castrating or something. And I usually try to have a good conversation back with them, you know, and if they're just being really mean and nasty, I'll usually just be a smart ass back to them. But a lot of them, like, I'll actually end up having a good conversation. And if they're just really like it's vulgar language, a lot of times I'll delete it. Or actually, YouTube's pretty good about they delete it.
I'll block people when they get just plain stupid. I haven't had to do it on YouTube, but on Facebook,
I've deleted comments like, and it's mainly just because it's nasty language. I'm like, look, I mean, you never, like, kids might be reading this, you know. But yeah, I'm like if the animal rights crazies get on there,
that's great.
Well, and then they share it with each other, and then they'll like start attacking you.
Yeah.
But then they're commenting. I'm like, pump those numbers up,
I was going to say, and then your numbers, you can just watch them go up.
Yeah.
Well, so Mike said that. Another guy said better pre-trip could have prevented that. All right, let's see here. Yep, overloaded. And then another guy said loaded in the middle instead of spread out like a trailer is designed for. And some of these things, they just kill me because I'm like, you're such an idiot. Like, it's so difficult for me to take some of them. And I'm going to make a blanket statement here. And every guy that said something negative to me is about 60 years old. Because I went to their page. Every one of them they all look the same. Like this guy here. Well, that guy, here he is. That dude, he's probably 50s, 60s, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Like this guy, Mike, he's actually a dog that I talked to.
Yeah.
But every single person that was talking crap was an older person. And this guy said loaded in the middle instead of spread. Like, we have never in the history of loading a grain trailer loaded the middle first. Like, you spread it out. I don't even understand what he's talking about. Like, we always start at the beginning of the front of the trailer and you start loading, and as it piles up, then you move forward, pile it up, move forward, pile it up. Like,
yeah,
I don't load it. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well, I don't know if
in the trailer,
some of these people, understand how a grain trailer is built, because
it's
and then too, like by the time you drive across the field, like it settles out. Like, even if you had it extremely over,
these are not square inside, they slant down.
It's funneled,
They slant to the middle. So let's see, another one. These are actually pretty good. That guy said sorry that had to happen during harvest or at all. Another guy said the fish and game going to get you for baiting. Now, I appreciate some of those comments.
The squirrels and turkey and deer in that immediate area.
The DOT guy was getting a bucket. He was like, man, I need some of that corn, because I was just scooping them the pile and throwing it off the road. He was like, hey, give me some of that corn.
Who's going to put it out? The coons. Coons probably one's really.
Dude, I bet it's deer. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if there ain't some deer getting hit or something down there.
Oh, yeah. You'll get hate for that, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Henry Stevens is another one. And again, I'll call he is a motorcycle. I've argued with a dog and a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Henry Stevens, it's spelled Stephen's. Greedy farmers serve you right. Greedy farmers serve you right. My old trailer that I can barely afford to run a trailer, and so I'm having to borrow a trailer, but I'm just a greedy bastard.
Yeah.
Like that. These things just kill me. And let's see, there's one more I'll read, and then I got something I wanted to talk about on it. This guy says, the taxpayers will buy you a new trailer. And I actually said, maybe if I were Ukrainian. And then he said, well, then they'd buy you two. Well, then this guy, John Wayne, commented, and he started out, he said, exactly, get tired of hearing poor farmers. And yes, I know plenty of them. And everybody that always says that always seems to know a bunch of people. They always say that, right. Like, well, I know these guys.
Right.
He said they milk the system with crop losses and labeling everything farm use. MFers will have a propane tank heating the house running the stove, water heater, etc., yet it's farm use only. Same goes for diesel fuel. No sympathy here. If it's that bad, find another job. Plenty out there. And I had two things I thought about on that. One, I kind of think back to when Trump was being questioned about his taxes, and they were like, you didn't pay any taxes in the year of so-and-so. What do you have to say for yourself? And he was like, yeah, because that was the laws that were in place. I just did what I could legally do.
I have really good tax attorneys, CPAs that work for me that use the tax code that all these politicians wrote.
Yeah.
In my advantage.
If a guy is doing, look, I pay more taxes than John Wayne will probably ever pay in his life. This guy's name is John Wayne. It's sad that he was such a turd with such a cool name. You know?
Yeah.
Which that real name, what was it? Marion was his real name.
Oh, Mary, I can't. Yeah, man.
I can't think of his real name offhand. It's bad.
I want to say Marion Roberts, but I'm not sure if that's.
Well, me and him actually did end up having a good, what is it?
Marion Robert Morrison.
Morrison, okay. There you go. Well, this guy ought to be Marion and that other dude. But me and John Wayne, it did end up having a good conversation because we went back and forth, and I finally told him, I was like, dude, I'm a 32-year-old guy that's a small farmer in our area. And I said, I'm literally just trying to basically survive and stay competitive against guys that are, I mean, like I told somebody, I was talking to a guy yesterday, I said,
guys that are in their 60s and 70s that want
what I got.
And are working, 20,000 acres and, wanting to grab up every bit they can. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, see, and that's the thing that I've noticed, what people said here, like the people that were talking crap, like greedy farmers serve you right, the guy saying taxpayers will buy you a new trailer. You know what they're actually talking about? They're talking about, and this is not against all of them, but they're talking about big operations. Yeah. They're talking about big operations that are milking the system. We know plenty of them. We've talked about them on the show before. Not all big operations are doing this. I want to make that clear. Like, I don't hate all big operations, but like the ones that are cheating the system and stuff, I'm not a fan. And that's what those guys are ultimately talking about.
Well, and that ain't me. Them, like the ones of them that are truck drivers, they're salty.
Because they got to go through the inspections.
Right. The farmers do get exemptions for, some of the regulations they have to adhere to. And I'm not an expert on all that, but I mean.
Yeah, they're just sour.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. And yeah, we, one of them was talking about everything was a tax write-off. I'm like, well, if we use it on the farm, it's a tax write-off. You're like, well, we're not about to try to pay more taxes.
No.
Like
I don't fault anybody for finding out a way to not pay taxes.
Yeah, like when somebody gets caught for tax evasion,
hell yeah, brother.
I shed a little bit of a tear for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another guy, the last one I'll mention here, and again, he's a dog. Like, man, I argued with a lot of dogs and motorcycles.
Well, it's like, I don't know why people won't put their own picture up for their avatar. Yeah.
Well, I went and creeped on his page. He looked like he's probably in his 60s. And I'm going to read it as he wrote it. Screw you. Because he messaged me. Because I finally went in there. I was like, all right. I went in and I changed it where you had to be following the page for 24 hours to comment.
Yeah.
So then
smart.
Yeah. So then he messages me and he says, screw you. If I can't comment on your crappie post, and he spelled crappie, people like you that run junk trucks on the road is why everyone hates trucks and drivers. Eat me. Which that shows that he's an old guy, because who says eat me? I haven't heard a person say that. Now, I won't read what I responded, so you can see my response to him there. It was a 4-letter word followed by off loser. If you can put those together, 4-letter word, off loser. And I never heard back from him. And he did see it. Like, it shows seen right after there. So he read it. Yeah. I don't know what kind of response do you expect? Like, what are you even messaging me for to say that? Like, what do you?
People are bored. Like, you just sit around on Facebook, like, just looking for stuff to get mad about and then comment on.
They're all retired truck drivers. Like that's what. But so needless to say, it really got me because it shows the disconnect. Like I got to thinking, our elder farmers, like back in the early 1900s, things were hard for them. I have no doubt. I mean, their labor was like terrible, very physical, laborious job. But the one thing they did not have to deal with was the amount of idiotic people that were rooting against them, because back then most people farmed. Like the percentage.
Well, and I think it's a very tiny percentage, and I would dare say, had any of these guys, I mean, they might have been like the guy that just drove on by, but
I would say most of those guys would. They'd be like, should have got inspected, some of them.
No, I think a lot of them would have stopped, and they'd have been as nice as they could be.
Yeah.
And shot the breeze with you,
Yeah.
and y'all, you'd have been like, man, I'd have a beer with that guy. But on the internet, everybody loves to be an asshole. That's
they do.
Like a lot of these celebrities, and I talk about Clay Travis every now and then, but he always talks about how all the hate, like he's one that like, reading his meme tweets and stuff is hilarious.
Yeah.
He still swears, he's like, I've never had one actual negative interaction in real life.
Yeah. But he gets
anybody. And he's like, and I'm fairly recognizable. I mean, he's not an A-lister or anything, but like when I go out, like people see me, people want to get pictures with me, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you just judged by the interactions I get online, like my mentions on Twitter, for instance, so you would think that everybody I run into just wants to beat the hell out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody is a tough guy because there's safety in a scream, and that's what's always irked me. It's like, man, people will say stuff, and you talk about Clay, I talk about Joe Rogan all the time, just because I think about Joe especially because he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he has one of the baddest spinning back. He taught George St. Pierre how to do a spinning back kick. Like have you ever watched the video of him doing that?
No.
It is insane. Like I imagine if you got kicked with that, it would like break all of your ribs. And then people will run their mouth to him online. And I'm like, I know these people would never say this stuff to this guy in person.
No.
It's frustrating, but it's really annoying when it's this disconnect. Man, look, there are big operators that are abusing the system, and there's small operators that are abusing the system. I ain't gonna act like all small operators are good. They just haven't been able to capitalize and gain as much land. Like I know some real peckerheads that are small operations, and I know some really great people that are big operators. So I can't. It's not like I'm not making a sweeping generalization here, but these guys were all salty truckers, and it was funny. Most of them were retired. But, I mean, my guy driving for me is probably as experienced or more experienced than every one of them that were saying anything.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point. I mean, yeah. Because sometimes you do have drivers that don't have a CDL and don't have a lot of experience and all those things. But no, this was like actually everything. It was one of the few times where you didn't have a really heavy load on the trailer.
Yeah.
Like it was a freak accident, I mean,
it was, and that's what I said. That's what all I've been able to tell people.
And people want to act like you've never had an accident. Like sometimes, I mean, Dale Earnhardt was a professional race car driver. He died driving a race.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Through probably no fault of his own. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just, different circumstances, and boom, you just it happens before you even know. So.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like I said, the disconnect. It just shows the disconnect with farming, and we've talked about that a lot on the show here, and that's something that I've tried to harp on because again, back in the day, man, everybody was involved in agriculture. If you weren't involved in ag, your grandpa was a farmer or your dad was involved in it.
Right.
There was elements of the family that was involved in the operation, so you got to see what it is, and we've gotten to the point now like. We went from a generation of everybody who was on the farm to a generation of their dad was on the farm to now a generation of their dad's dad was on a farm to like, it gets to the point where it's so far separated that they have absolutely no clue what life is actually like farming and what, for us, because a lot of guys were saying, man, they need to go through the same inspections and do all this stuff. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry, but we're not on a standard shipping scale. Like we got to get as much crap out of the field as possible as we can. Because
in a very short period of time.
In a very short period of time, everything is against us all the time. Like, the weather is never your friend. I mean, it's been really dry here, so it's been great for harvest. It's also been horrible for harvest because it's drying the dadgum Mississippi River up, and it's making our graineries barely be able to be open. So it's like always something is working against you.
Well, and this kind of makes me think of the old quote, farmer's the only man who buys everything retail price, sells everything wholesale price, and pays the shipping both ways.
Yeah.
Like, this was literally you paying shipping. And two, it kind of ties into, was it last week? It seems so long ago where we had to talk about Bryce Mitchell.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now he's
kind of friendly fire.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the truckers
are like, they're blue collar conservative Americans for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, hardworking, regular dudes.
Yep.
Like, farmers.
We'd have a beer with these guys.
Yeah, like farmers. Like, especially I feel like, young farmers, and not to toot your horn, excessively, but, your LH Farm's a first generation outfit. You could just be working for your dad.
Yeah.
And taking zero risk and just saying, well, one day, whether it's when he retires or when he falls over dead, which is how it goes with most farmers.
Yeah.
They don't like to turn over the keys until they're in the grave.
They'll be 80 and still running.
I will be in line to take over that operation. But no, you said, you know what? You were mid-20s, said, no, I want my own thing, and started out. And like, I think most of those guys, if they were sitting here with us, they'd be like, oh man, it'd be a totally different interaction. And so, it kind of feels like friendly fire, just like we said with Bryce. Like, look, dude, like, no. There's plenty of people for us to, that aren't on the same side as us. When you really think about the grand scheme of things, we're on the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think Bryce got our message? Did you see that video? He's kind of backed down a little bit.
At least in my mind, I tell myself he did. Because for those of you who don't follow Bryce Mitchell, you're probably better for it. But I shouldn't say that. Like, heck, I still root for the guy. I still follow him on social media. He put out one or two. Was it two videos?
I don't know. I only saw that one.
It may have been one video this week talking about
less than 2% as farmers.
Yeah. It's almost like he'd been listening to us all along. You're like, yes. He was putting out a great message for ag and how we need to. And I was like, this is so much more even keeled.
And he actually even sounded like a normal guy.
Yeah, he was like coherent. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, that last interview was right before he had a big fight.
Maybe it was on some toot or something.
Maybe something was going on like before that. But that's what it was. He had another video today that I saw, completely kind of unrelated. Apparently it was his birthday. There's some different companies that sent him some stuff, which of course they were doing it because they were getting a shout out.
Oh yeah.
To his 500,000 followers.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different meat companies. Had sent him, one of them was like some bison meat, one of them some beef. But that was the other video I was thinking of. But no, I was like, wow, like he sounds so reasonable and coherent and like he's making good points. Like, yes, dude, that's, if you want to represent agriculture to your relatively big following, this is the way.
Yes.
So I think he listened to our last episode and he realized, he's like, man, those guys are right.
But like we were like kind of laughing, but it's kind of to honestly, we had several people very close to him send him our podcast.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that he might have listened. And I mean, we took some pretty good shots at him, but we made the friendly fire remark. So maybe that landed home with him. Bryce, if you're listening,
there's plenty of lunatics on each coast and in between that, the basement dwelling, 25-year-old, what I shouldn't even stereotype that, but yes, everybody knows who we're not the enemy of other blue collar middle America for sure.
Yeah.
Farmers in general, farmers, truckers, like, yeah, we're
on the same team, guys. Yeah. Hey, before we do the thing, what are you drinking? We didn't say our drink.
Man, we did Buffalo Trace.
Okay. Going with just the tried and the true.
Yep.
I got my Infinity blend here. I don't know what's all in there.
Yeah.
Just what I've had. I'm gonna add a little Blanton's to it tonight because I got a weird splash left, so I'll pour it in there.
Well, I got into, I talked last week, I opened a Woodford that a buddy gave me for my birthday, and then I had another, like a big handle of Buffalo Trace, same thing.
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot of bourbon, especially during the warmer time of year.
It's getting to the bourbon season for you, though.
And so I actually kind of forgotten about those, but I put them up in my cabinet. And I was like, oh gosh. And so I was like, I opened up that bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to say real quick. Crap. Oh, before I got to tell you, the giveaway is live.
Yes, Man, it's finally up.
I always forget that. The giveaway is live. I was about 3 or 4 days late. Honestly, I had said October 1st, and then October 4th, I was like, oh no. And so I went in and put the giveaway up. So giveaway's live. There is some way, it tells you once you sign up, there is some ways to gain some extra entries. And
it's very straightforward.
Yes.
You go to the website, it's like a pop-up that comes up immediately. And somebody actually messaged me today and said, how do I know that I got entered? I mean, you should know, because as soon as you click, because I tested it, enter your email, click I agree or whatever.
Yep.
It says, congratulations, you're entered. So
there is a little consent thing you got to check at the bottom. They may not have checked that.
Okay. But you'll know, because it'll say, congratulations, you're entered, or something to that effect. And then it says you can gain extra entries by sharing on Facebook, sharing on Twitter, and those are all super simple to do as well.
You do have to confirm it in the email. It's going to send you an email, and you confirm your entry, because I've been able to track it. We've had quite a good turnout already, and it's running all month. So you got time. We did that on purpose in case somebody's kind of, maybe you're listening a couple episodes
and I'm glad
behind.
We did it here at the end in a way, because, Logan and I both said, if people are sharing it, and maybe other people are entering that aren't really listeners, we want a listener. We want a true fan of the show to be the one to win it. We're joking. It'd be awkward if we get the winner here in the studio. We're like, so how long you been listening to the show? And they're like, well, this will actually be my first time ever. Like, we might have to kick them out.
Yeah, be like, we'll go to our runner-up in that scenario.
But we want one of you guys that are still listening here over an hour in to be the winner.
Yeah, that's right. So go to talkdirtpodcast.com, and when you scroll down, it's like I've got it where it pops right up, and you enter. You do confirm your email, and it tells you what you can do to gain some entries. Do it, and I tell you, do it, because we've had quite a few people that, man, they want to be on the show, man. They've been going all out. That's awesome. We appreciate that.
And it ends when?
October. No, I think I've got it ending November 1st. It's either October.
It has a countdown on there.
Yeah.
But you got a few weeks, but go ahead and do that.
All right, you got the boss man.
Made in America.
All right, so
2 awesome words.
That's right. I just got this in tonight. Man, it's still early. It's October, but Christmas will be here before long. It's approaching quickly. And I was like, man, this is actually a good thing to go ahead and do. So, have you ever heard of Lily Hill Farm?
Don't believe so.
All right, so I found it.
Just Lily, like the flower, Lily?
Lily, 1 L.
Okay.
And then Hill Farm, and it's lilyhillcattle.com is the thing, but with 1 L. And they sell beef online, but they also sell, so I ordered Marcy something. I was on here and I was like, man, she'd probably like that. I follow Lily, I guess, I think it's Lily, but I follow the chick on Instagram, and she uses tallow from beef to make lotion and lip balm and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen where that's gotten to be a big thing. I actually had somebody email me. I don't know, they found me through YouTube, won't know if they could buy my beef tallow. They're looking for grass-fed. Which I was like, I don't save the tallow. But they kept emailing me. They're like, I didn't know. I was like, look, Like, my beef is grain finished. When you feel like upgrading to that, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Because it was all, they want grass fed tallow.
Like it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, like, whatever. Well, actually, and hey, I'm gonna give Lily Hill a shout out. Grass fed, grain finished beef.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's awesome on that.
Yeah, like
and
it's all grass fed, but grain finished. I mean, I'll probably go to my grave. I will die on that hill. Grain finished beef is superior.
Yes, I did.
And the health benefits people want to tout of a grass finished. Yeah.
Well,
they're it's not a nickel's worth of difference when it comes to that.
No. Well, their names is Mark and Avery Rigglesworth. They're two young farmers, so we're fans of our young farmers. Passion for raising ethical, premium quality, sustainable beef, and they're smart marketers. Are using the right words. Sustainable beef. They know the words to use. But it's American made. They're in Georgia. And it's pretty cool. I mean, the stuff is pretty awesome. Marcy just got hers in today. I was like pumped up for her to get it. And their logo or their brand, whatever they call it, is pretty awesome looking. It's literally like an LHF all together, but it looks really cool.
So you bought her the tallow skincare?
Yeah, it's got the lotion and the lip balm.
Yeah.
And I mean, a little goes a long way because I was like, I got her the citrus, and it's very like mild, like it's barely scented. But I mean, it's supposed to be like a very natural thing.
It has gotten to be a big thing. I don't want to call it a fad, but it's gotten to be very like kind of in vogue or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the health and skin type people. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
My skincare routine is I take a shower.
That's pretty much mine. But like, if I were gonna use lotion, I would probably try to get some of hers. Yeah. But I did. It's a natural product. You're ordering it from them. I think they're a smaller operator, so it takes a little while to get it. That's why I say, like, go ahead if you want to get your wife this for Christmas or something.
It's actually an excellent idea.
Yeah, and it's high quality. Like, this is high quality stuff. So, lilyhillcattle.com, and it's 1L, Lily, hillcattle.com.
2 L's total.
Yes.
But only 1 L in a row.
Yep. Yeah. And, so, and again, they sell beef. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff on there.
Buy the meat or the tallow. Or
get her a big roast and some tallow and butter. Hey, that'd be the thing to do. Get a roast, cook a roast, get the tallow, and then y'all can eat, have a good meal, and then you can do the body massage.
Give her a nice back rub using the tallow.
You know how that's going to end. So works out well for both of you.
What's it? The Brad Paisley, which he kind of went nuts, but you say a back rub means only a back rub. Hey.
Yep.
I don't know.
Like in Spider-Man.
We'll keep this show.
Like in Spider-Man when he says, "How'd that get in there?" All right. Agzaga.com.
Yes, agzaga.com. You got 2 codes to use. You need to use the WRAP23 code here pretty quickly because I know they said for a week. I don't know exactly when that's going to end, but free shipping using WRAP23. So you're not going to pay to ship it. Yep. You're not going to pay full price on whatever you put in that shopping cart because you're going to use the discount code Talk Dirt, all one word, all caps.
Yep.
Check it all out. If you're like me, you got hay to bale. You know you're going to bale some next year. For one, it's probably going to be more expensive next year.
Yeah, like with everything.
Just naturally. So go ahead and buy it at this year's price, but not even at this year's price. Get it for 10% off. They're going to ship it to you for free. You're going to already be set for next year. Hey, you can go ahead and put it on this year's taxes as your write-off.
Write it off. We farmers write everything off.
That's right. Not too early to do Christmas shopping. We're going to really hit on that more over the coming weeks to months because I'm about to, go in there because I've actually got a birthday for my son, and then of course both my kids. Assuming they're good between now and Christmas, we'll be cashing in with some Agzaga toys.
Yeah,
but the parts, the tools, the toolboxes. You just got to go on there and check it out.
Check it out, guys. Thank y'all. We'll catch you next week.